my traps all right.
Welcome back. Here we are, still snagging some coyotes, man. This is a really big mature male. We got a little food plot right here behind us, and like I say, this place has been releasing quail all week. And we actually found a dead fawn in this field about 2 weeks ago, and that's what made me want to set this trap here. You know, I figured the fawn had been killed by the coyotes, so we knew they were coming through here. This place doesn't have a big concentration of coyotes on it. It's close to the salt marsh, the salt river, and just traditionally, in my experience, those saltwater environments close to the salt water don't hold a lot of coyotes. But you know, there's usually a pack or two in a big piece of property like this. So this trap's been in the ground for about 2.5 weeks now. It's only the second coyote we've caught off this property, but the first one was only about 1/4 mile back that way. So we're pretty excited to get this one. Got him in a Bridger 175, had a little dirt hole set in here. Trap set's been rained on, and we just kept sprinkling a little bit of fresh dirt over the top and freshening up with some urine and a little bit of lure. And we finally connected on one. So we're gonna snag up some pictures of him, get this set remade right over here outside the circle, and keep right on rolling. All right, so we just pulled up this trap, and we got a gray fox in it. This trap's been in the ground probably 2.5 weeks. Got a raccoon in it over here, and remade the set outside of the circle. Anyway, we made a dirt hole set here, and caught this fox in it. So on this video, I'm gonna show y'all some of my dirt hole sets and the variations that I use in it. And I'm gonna show you some flat sets and some dirt hole sets, which are my two most common sets. And just the way I mix them up, and like I say, the different variations that I use in it to catch these animals in. So anyway, we're gonna snap some pictures of this thing and keep moving, and then we'll get on those set instructional videos. All right, so what we got here, we had a flat set in here, and there's a lot of tractor work that goes on these plantations, and our set got ran over. So this is a pretty good opportunity. I'm gonna remake this set and kind of knock down some of these tractor tire treads here. So it's a pretty good opportunity to show how I make my flat sets and just give you guys a little instructional on that. All right, so like I said, tractor mashed this trap in here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take and just knock this thing back a little bit to how it, you know, originally looked before we had all the tread marks in there from the tractor. All right, so our flat sets, they are just that, flat ground. There's not a lot of backing or anything like that. We're gonna go ahead and get this one reset, MB550 offset. Okay. Dig our bed back out here. Anytime I bed a trap, whether it's a flat set or a dirt hole or step down or anything like that, these are some of my older traps too, and some of them still have the old shock springs, inline shock springs. I don't use those anymore, but I hadn't completely gotten away from, or I hadn't actually had time to take all of them off my older traps, so I still run some on here just for lack of time, being able to change them all out. All right, so if you look, if I bed that trap right there, it's slightly lower than the ground level. I mean, my bed's probably about 1.5 to 2 inches deep. And what that does is it gives the animal somewhere to step. And don't ask why, I don't know, but animals, bobcats, coyotes, fox, they always tend more to step down in a depression rather than up on something. So if I have a change in elevation, if I have a change in elevation on a trap set, I always like to set my trap lower than everything. And your pan should always be lower. It should be the lowest point of the set. So I dig a little hole to kind of stuff my chain down in where it doesn't give the trap opportunity to rock in the bed. I like to put some nice soft fluffy dirt down in there and just wiggle that trap good down in there where it's good and solid. There you go. Pack it all in good. Can't have any movement on these traps when they're in the beds, regardless of what kind of set you're making. Can't have any type of a shifting motion. If a coyote comes up here, or any kind of animal for that fact, if he comes up and he's working this set and he steps here, maybe on the jaw or on the lever, anywhere other than the pan, and that trap wiggles or moves or shifts underfoot, you know, a raccoon or a fox is going to dig it up. A coyote will dig it up, but most times if a coyote steps here and that trap shifts under his foot, he's just going to leave. He's not going to work that set anymore. And until you fix it, he's really not even going to come back and bother it much. So here we got our trap bedded in nice and solid. All your dirt's packed in good and hard around it, packed in inside the jaws. Nice and smooth. So I'll take my sifter and just kind of make that a gradual slope down into the trap. That way I don't have any sharp edges, you know, any steep edges around the set. If you notice, obviously the dirt's going to be different colored because you got your surface dirt that's dried out from sitting in the sun, and then you got your dirt underneath that's a little darker colored just from being damp. So I'll go ahead and sift that over and cover it completely and take and smooth that out nice and pretty, and then grab some of this surface dirt. And if you're running your traps early in the morning, and it's been pretty hot around here lately, by the afternoon this dirt will all look the same color. There we go. Now we got a nice smooth trap set, trap bed. It's all the same level. You know, you still have your slight depression here, and we'll take a little bit of grass. Take a little bit of grass. I like to carry a little pair of surgical scissors with me, and just take some of this dry stuff or even the green stuff nearby. Try not to get anything big in it like this that might cause the jaw not to close all the way. Just give it a couple little snips. And what this does, it camouflages the trap in. But if you take those scissors and do it, it'll keep from getting anything big in there that'll keep your trap from closing all the way and giving you a proper catch. So a few little snips here. Leave a nice little open, clean spot right there in the middle where the pan is. Everything else just kind of, you know, blends in, looks natural at that point. All right, so moving on to baiting. There's several different ways to bait flat sets. You can surface bait them. I tend to just take my driver, and you know, you got about 2.5 inches here. I'll just run it about 3 to 3.5 inches deep, and right here where the incline of your slope of your bed is, I'll just take and punch in a little tiny hole. It's not like this huge dirt hole, you know, we make like with the 3-inch augers and stuff. And if there is a little tuft of grass or something like that, I'll use that too. And I'll make 2, sometimes 3 holes around this set. And I try to never do it the same way twice. So if, you know, my dog's here on my trap, this is my 12 o'clock, this is my 6 o'clock, I'll put one here at, you know, 10 or 11, one down at 6, and then maybe one over here at like 4 or 5 o'clock. And I vary those holes around. I do the same thing with a dirt hole set. I vary the location of the lure and the bait holes. And what it does, especially if you're trapping smaller properties, you don't want the same set over and over and over. You don't want a coyote to walk down a road that, you know, you got a half a dozen traps in a half-mile stretch. You don't want him to see the same thing over and over again. The coyotes, they imprint real easily. So if you have a dirt hole set, it's a single dirt hole set with a little tuft of grass for a backing and a trap out in front of it, and that coyote comes up and that trap does shift under his foot, or maybe he trips it, or he smells your smell or something on there, he gets a whiff of something he doesn't like. Well, the next trap, if it looks just like it and he's traveling down that road, odds are he's not going to bother that trap either. He's just going to move on. So if all your sets are the same over and over repetitive look, you're going to catch fewer coyotes with that. You're going to catch fewer animals in general, but especially coyotes. So here's our 12, 6. Got a hole in about 10 or 11 o'clock, one down here about 6 or 7 o'clock, and we're going to punch a little small one in here. And I like to vary as well the angles of the holes. You notice I put 2 in at a sharper angle, then I'll put 1 almost straight up. And what that does, in my mind anyway, it causes the animal to work this set from different angles. So this really sharp angle here that's kind of going into this little slope of dirt, he'll kind of work that a little further back. And then this one here that goes straight down, in my mind anyway, he wants to work it a lot closer. So I'm thinking his nose is going to be right here and his feet are going to be right here on top of the trap. And that's just my theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems to work pretty well for me. So we're going to take, and we're just going to do lure on this trap, because right over here we got a dirt hole set just on the other side of this intersection. We actually caught a coyote in it about a week ago. So I don't want to match lures or baits or urines or anything like that so close to one another. So I'm going to put in a lure here and a lure here and a lure here, and maybe a little bit of urine in this grass here. And what that does is it gives him a lot of different things to smell. It keeps his interest going. If you just got one lure on this set and maybe some urine, or a bait and some urine, odds are he's going to come up and work it, but it won't keep his interest quite as long as it had the potential to if you had multiple smells on here. Coyotes love smells, and the more you can put on a set within reason, the better. It'll keep him here longer. It'll keep his curiosity going a little bit longer. You notice here's my pan. This hole is about 6 to 8 inches. This hole is about 5 inches, and this hole here I made it about 8 to 10 inches off. So you vary the distance of the holes, you vary the locations of the holes, you vary the lures and the scents and the baits that you use in the holes. And like I say, it holds that curiosity a little bit longer and makes that animal work the set a little bit longer. And if you do that, if you vary your holes, you vary your lures, and you vary the way that you make your sets and the type of sets you make, you'll definitely increase your catch rate, especially on coyotes. All right, so what we got here, we had a dirt hole set in here. We caught a fox just over here a week or so ago. There's a lot of fox in this field, and it looks like something maybe worked the dirt hole from the backside and tripped the trap, didn't get caught. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna remake this set. We just got a little furrow hill here from where the tractors have been working this cotton field, and just a little small low backing. And we're gonna remake this dirt hole set, show you guys my basic single hole dirt hole set. All right, so here we go. We got our trap set already, got our bed dug out. I use a 3-inch auger. I prefer that over the smaller 1-inch. I drill my bait holes in probably about 10, 11 inches deep. And I tend to put them at about a 45-degree angle coming back towards the trap. Now my back in here, this animal's already worked this set from the backside one time, so if he comes back, he knows he can work it from the backside again. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna scrape a little bit of dirt out headed back towards the trap bed. Just put a little, just a little tiny hill of dirt right here. Just a little bit of fencing, something high that makes him want to come around and work it from the front side of the trap. And get this trap bedded nice and low. And we want to offset our traps. You don't want to put your trap dead center of the bait hole like this. you want to come offset just a few inches, 1.5 to 2 inches, sometimes 3. If I'm going for coyotes, I like to be about 3 inches offset. So here's our center line, and then here we're about 3 inches offset. And the reason behind that, if your trap set here dead center, an animal's going to stand like this, and he's going to sit here and dig and dig and dig, and he's going to miss that trap. But if you set it offset to the side like this, when he goes to stand to dig, he's stepping right down on the trap. You set it offset left, offset right, it doesn't matter. But you need to have just a little bit of offset in that trap because of the foot placement of the animal. Now, unlike the flat set, where I would slope all this nice and smooth, I don't so much mind the higher, steeper banks here on the bed of this trap. The reason behind that is just foot placement. He's, you know, on a flat set, he's got, on my flat sets, they have those multiple scents and lures that they're trying to get after. On this one, we got one location he's trying to go. So I really like to try to guide his feet to where the trap is. Once again, always keep the pan the lowest point of the set. I like to sprinkle a little bit of dirt around my dirt holes like this, just to kind of blend it where it doesn't look like just one big circle of dirt. Looks like maybe something's been digging and they've been casting dirt all over the place. Again, a little bit of vegetation to blend it in. Sometimes I take and I punch my lure holes here in the back of the dirt hole. Sometimes I'll put one over here, maybe even one back behind the set. Like I say, it's good to vary. It's good to vary the locations of your scents and your lures around the set. We're gonna punch one in right here, just a little tiny small one like that. And all that does is just gives the animal an opportunity to swing around on the set and work it from a different angle.
You're trying to get away, huh?
All right, so we just got out of this line and picked up this coyote. This trap's been in about 2.5, almost 3 weeks, and hadn't had any action on it. And like I say, we had a bunch of rain a few weeks ago, and I try to only freshen up my traps probably every 5 to 7 or 8 days, just to kind of try to stay off the sets a little bit. And we just came through last night or yesterday afternoon and freshened everything up. So some fresh bait and fresh lure did the trick on it. And what we got here, we got a big sod field right here behind us, and this hedgerow just runs through the middle of these big open fields, so it's a good travel route for them. Last year I think we caught 3 coyotes and a big bobcat here last year, so we knew it was a good travel route. We knew it'd just take some time, but you know, figured we'd eventually pick one up. And it's a pretty big dog, and for this time of year, he's got some good hair on him. Like I say, unfortunately, we can't keep any fur right now because we're under permit trapping, but got a coyote. I think this is number 11 or 12 off this piece of property. 2 or 3 fox and 2 or 3 bobcats too. So it's slow, and it's still hot. It's October the 15th today, and it's gonna be like 85 or 86 degrees. So if we ever get any cool weather again around here, it'll definitely pick up the trapping, but for now we'll take whatever we can get. And we're gonna snap some pictures of him and remake the set, keep moving. All right, so again, we got another trip trap here this morning. Not real sure what snagged this one. We just freshened the bait up on it yesterday. It could have been anything. I see some, see a couple little tracks right here. Looks like it might have been a fox. I'm not sure why we're missing all these critters today. We hadn't been really having this problem lately. But we just got a single dirt hole in here. We've caught 2 coyotes right here on the same location, and we just keep kind of shifting the trap over and over. So just for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna make this a 2-hole dirt set just to show you guys how I do that. All right, so what we did here yesterday when we remade this set, there was a little loose tuft of grass, and I just kind of placed it here to put the lure in. We got our single dirt hole here, and I got a lure hole punched in here, so I had a bait and 2 lures on this set. And like I say, just for the purposes of the video to, you know, show you guys my 2-hole sets, And I'm gonna punch another dirt hole in right here where I have my lure set. Now, I've talked about the variations of your hole location, your bait hole and your lure hole locations on your sets. You got to keep it mixed up. Again, I've got this one set offset to the right a little bit of the bait hole and the lure hole here and another lure attractant here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to punch this other bait hole in right here next to it. And this one's about the, you know, the typical 45-degree angle like I like to use, and it's deep. You know, 8 to 10 inches deep. This one I'm going to do slightly shallower, and I like to do that. There again, it just makes the animal work the set from different angles. It makes him work it closer, further away, and it just keeps his feet moving around this set. The longer you can hold an animal on a set, the more you can keep his interest on a set, and the more you can make him work it from different points of view and different angles, the higher your chances are of catching. So we're going to punch this hole in here. This one, like I say, is about 8 to 10 inches deep. We're going to punch this one in about 4 to 5 inches deep. Just like that, nice and shallow. Now, we got this grass here in the middle, not so much out here to the outside. We're just going to pull this up. There you go. I'm going to pull it up and make a little bit of backing with that. Now, I am up against this tall grass, and that's not always optimal in my opinion for coyotes, but for the situation I'm in right here, I got a point of grass coming down. I got a couple, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roads, and bush hog trails are all meeting together right here. So typically, if I was in a field or something, I wouldn't have anything this high behind the set, but because of the location, it's okay. So we got our 2 bait holes punched in here. We got one at this angle, one back kind of this angle, one deep, one shallow. And like I say, mix it up. Sometimes if I have a trap set on a double dirt hole set, I'll put one in behind it, one in front of it. I'll put them close together like that. I can put one here angled back this way and put one here angled back this way. I change it up, and like I said, especially trapping smaller pieces of property where you're trying to get, you know, most of us trappers don't have humongous pieces of land to trap. The average guy probably trapping 100, 200 acres at the most. And when you're bound to that smaller tract of land, you got to vary up those sets. You can't do the same thing over and over again, because the coyotes will get used to it, and they'll just completely shut down and won't even go near your sets if everything looks the same. And one trap, it only takes one trap to booger them, and they won't come anywhere near anything else that looks like that for a while. So make sure that you vary those sets, you vary the locations of the holes, you vary the lures. Don't use the same thing over and over and over again, and it's going to increase your catch rate, especially on your coyotes. All right, just pulled up here and picked up another one. Hadn't caught anything in about a week out here on this property, not coyotes anyway. Got a lot of rain, and we got a little cool snap moving through. It was about 55 last night, so we was kind of hoping that it was going to get some stuff moving, and obviously it did. Had a dirt hole set in here, a 2-hole dirt hole set, and snagged this coyote by the back foot. He's pretty poor looking. It's probably a good thing we're taking him out of here. He looks like he might have starved to death if he hadn't got caught. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and snap some pictures and take him out of here and remake the set and keep moving. All right, just made it out to our biggest line of the day. We picked up a coyote this morning on one of the smaller lines, and just pulled up and picked up this gray fox. This is a big mature gray, and right at the other end of this field, I don't know, 600 or 700 yards, is where we caught that first gray a couple videos back. So I imagine this is probably the pair to it. Got some really good coloring on it and everything. This set has been in for about a week and a half, well, about 2.5 weeks. I just made a dirt hole set here in the corner of this cotton field, and we had a coyote dig the dirt hole, but he didn't bother to trap, didn't trip the trap or move it or anything in the bed. So, you know, we start out with a 3-inch auger hole, and he had dug it out to, you know, something about this big around and about 1.5 feet deep. And we just moved the trap just a little bit where it would be placed better in front of the dig, and reset it, rebaited it. We had fox tracks on it, had coyote tracks on it, you know, non-stop, and they just kept missing the trap. And like I say, I always harp on leaving your sets alone. I knew they were here, I knew they were coming, I just left it alone, let it sit. Every time they'd steal the bait, I'd put a new blob of bait in, and we finally connected on this gray. So pretty happy to get him. I'm gonna snap a few pictures of him and keep moving. All right, so here we are this morning early. Picked up a coyote in this flat set. I don't know if y'all remember it or not, but this was where we had kind of done that little scouting addition to the video. We had all the coyote tracks and the bobcat tracks and turkey and deer and everything coming through here. It took about 2 weeks, but we finally got him. It's pretty good, pretty healthy little coyote. He's young, but he's definitely fluffed up pretty good for this time of year. So anyway, we're gonna move this set just outside the circle. He made a pretty good mess of it, and I'm gonna keep right on moving. All right, we're back at it. We've been having a bunch of rain the last couple days, and it's really put a hurting on us. But we still snagged one. Looks like a pretty good sized female. These dogs over here we've been catching got a lot of black color in them, so I'm kind of hoping we can get another full-grown black one here before too much longer. We still got a couple weeks left on this line, so we should have plenty more action. But I'm gonna snap a few pictures and keep moving. Back at it. Over here in this over here in this big mature pine stand, quail woods and everything all behind us. We just pulled up and we got our first bobcat of the fall. I might be a little too close. This fella's pretty rowdy. That is a big giant tom. MB 550. Had a flat set in here, and then just across the road there, had a big dirt hole set. This guy is not happy. So we're gonna snap a few pics of him and keep rolling. All right, just made it out to this trap. Pulled up, we got us a nice big bobcat here. And the reason that I set this trap here is we got a nice, a little food plot right over here to the right of us. And they've been releasing quail out here on this plantation all week. So there's a couple thousand birds on the ground. I knew these cats and fox and coyotes and all the predators would be prowling around this general area. I think they put out probably 50 quail right here in this field. So we set a trap next to it. I've been working on a bobcat lure. I got a pretty good coyote lure that I make, and I've been working on a bobcat lure, and I actually put it on this trap yesterday, just kind of freshening up from the rain, and we snagged this nice big tom on it. So anyway, man, we're gonna snag up a few pictures of this thing and get the set remade and get this cat handled, and we're gonna keep moving. Man, talk about pulling one out late in the fourth quarter. This trap has been in, we set this on day 1 3 weeks ago. Nothing's messed with it, nothing's tripped it, nothing has dug the bait. I think we've freshened it up probably about 3 times, maybe 4. You know, had a bunch of rain come through 1 week, so we were trying to freshen traps ahead of the rain. And then, like I say, about once a week, I'll throw a little fresh blob of lure and maybe some urine on there. And we finally snagged a gray fox. This is our pull day on this property. So this is gonna wrap this video up. This makes four gray fox, 3 bobcats, 12 coyotes off this property, you know, and a number of raccoons and a dozen or so possums in 3 weeks. So it hadn't been a terrible run, but it was hot. You know, we had highs in the upper 80s, lower 90s, and it's finally cooled off. See, I got my sweatshirt on this morning. It's been 44, 45 degrees today and yesterday, and we were hoping it was going to increase some catches those last couple days, but we're almost at the end of the line. This is all we picked up this morning. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, and I hope you learned something from the few little instructionals we had on here, hit the like button, you know, give it the thumbs up, turn on the bell, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to be putting up plenty of content. We trap year round with Coastal Land Wildlife. usually get started up in September, and we'll quit about the 1st of August and take August off and go right back to it. So there's always plenty of content on the channel, and like I say, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.